are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. A baseball, the moon, and an orange I have right here are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a sphere. A basketball, the earth, and marbles I have here are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a sphere. Here are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. A soda can, a pencil shaft, and a can of soup would be examples of a cylinder, as you can plainly see. A marker, a glass of milk, and a peanut butter jar are all examples of a cylinder. Yes, I'm sure they are. Here are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. An ice cube, a cardboard box, and a Christmas present for you are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a cube. My little dice, a sugar cube, and blocks that I use are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a cube. Here are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. An ice cream cone, a pencil tip, and a bag of foam are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a cone. A birthday hat, a traffic cone, or a funnel in my home are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a cone. Here are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. A paperweight, Egyptian pyramids, and some tents would be examples of a pyramid, as you can plainly see. Here are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone.
All right, kindergarten, I hope you enjoyed the Harry Kindergarten song about the 3D shapes that you know. So today what we are going to do is we are going to review those three-dimensional shapes, and then we're going to do a worksheet to help review them. The first shape we're going to look at is called a sphere. We're also going to compare a sphere to a circle, and I want you guys to think, what is the same and what is different? If you guys look, when I look at them on this page, it looks like they're both the same shape. They both look like a circle, and that's what you might be thinking about a sphere and a circle, is that they actually both look like circles. But when we're talking about a sphere, I want you to think about a circle that you can actually grab. So if I think about the song, I remembered him talking about an orange and a globe and a basketball. Those are examples of spheres. A circle is just a two-dimensional shape or a 2D shape that is flat. But a sphere is something, a three-dimensional shape that you can actually grab. Now we're going to look at a cube and a square. There's some things that are the same and some things that are different. Look at the two shapes down below. Look at the dice and look at the square. Think about what is the same and what is different. When I look at this, I see that this is just a square. But when I look at the dice, I see that it's a square, but there's a square on multiple edges. A cube is actually a square that you can hold. So a cube is a 3D shape that you can hold, whereas a square is just a 2D shape and it's flat. Think of some other examples of cubes. Maybe they're examples that you've seen, or they're examples from the actual song that you just listened to. When I think of the song, I think of Harry Carey Kindergarten singing about the box is a cube and an ice cube is an example of a cube, but a square is just flat, whereas a cube is a square that you can hold on to. Now we're going to look at a cylinder. Say that word, cylinder. A cylinder is somewhat like a circle because a cylinder has a circle on each end, but then a cylinder also has a tube that connects the two circles. So when I think of a circle, that's a 2D shape or a two-dimensional shape. A circle is flat. But when I think of a cylinder, I know I can grab a cylinder. When I think of a cylinder, I think of things like a telescope, or I think of a toilet paper roll, or I think of a can of soup. Those are all examples of cylinders. Maybe you can think of some examples from the song or some cylinders that you see around a classroom or around your home. Some of you might be thinking of a jar, or you might be thinking of a pop can that you can drink of. Those are all examples of cylinders. Whereas a circle is just a two-dimensional flat shape, a cylinder is kind of like a circle that you can grab. The last one we're going to look at today is we're going to compare the cone up to the triangle. A triangle is a two-dimensional shape that's flat. But when I look at the cone, I see that it is three-dimensional. It has a circle at the bottom, but then it kind of looks like a triangle at the top. So there's some things that are the same and some things that are different. When I think of a cone, I think of a birthday hat, or I might think of a construction cone that you might see on a road. What are some other examples of cones that you heard from the song or that you see on a daily basis? Some of you might be thinking of a funnel. That's one example of a cone as well. Something that's pointy at the top or bottom and then has a circle base. So what you're going to do today is you are going to compare two-dimensional shapes like a circle, a triangle, and a square, and you are going to compare them to three-dimensional shapes like a cylinder, a cone, and a cube. Another one that's not shown down here as a three-dimensional shape that you'll have to draw today is a sphere. Remember, the sphere is the one that looks like a circle and is like a soccer ball, a globe, or the sun. Those are all examples of spheres. So what you're going to do is you have a worksheet in front of you, and you are going to draw your three-dimensional shapes first. Like a square, you're going to have to draw. You'll have to draw a circle. You'll have to draw a triangle, a rectangle, and a rhombus. So you have some extra shapes. Remember, your rhombus is just like a square, but it's tilted. Think of a diamond when I say rhombus. When you get done drawing your 2D shapes, I want you to then think about the song and show me that you've learned and understand what a three-dimensional shape is. You are going to draw one example of a sphere, one example of a cylinder, like a can, one example of a cone, like an ice cream cone, and one example of a cube, like an ice cube or a dice. Then make sure that you turn in the worksheet to me when you are done. All right, get working and good luck, kindergarten.